Hey everyone, I'm here today to compare some of my ink brands for you guys so you can see what types look like what and what my preferences are and just everything. So one thing about stamping, obviously, I have my acrylic block out, I have a stamp, and that is my scrubber pad, and you guys have probably seen me use it a lot. I use the Staz-On stamp cleaner, and it's been known to wear away on your stamps. I don't know if this is true or not. It's just what I've read online. But you just spray it onto the pad, and then you can just scrub your stamps over the pad. And it's really easy. And I find it is the best way to get my stamps really clean. The other thing you can do is use baby wipes. I just use like unscented, all natural baby wipes. I don't want to leave any scents or anything on my stamps that could possibly damage them in some other way. And I use the Huggies brand to clean off like my big stamps or ones with my chalk ink. So when I went through all of my inks, I was actually pretty surprised by how many different styles that I had. I have the chalk inks there. That's the one in my hand right now. And it's kind of like a pigment ink where it's a little bit thicker. It sits on top of your stamp and it gives you a little better coverage. I also have some Heidi Swap inks, Studio Calico ink, Hero Arts Shadow ink. I have some Stampin' Up stamp pads and Distress inks, which you can do a lot of different things with, Memento ink, and Staz-On. So I'm going to start with the Staz-On, and basically Staz-On is really good for stamping, and it will stay there. So you can color with colored pencils or whatnot, and it just sticks really good. And I used to use this for all of my black ink until I got some Copic markers. And you cannot use Copics for Staz-On, or you cannot use Staz-On for Copic markers. So that's when I ended up switching to Memento Black Tuxedo ink. And I actually really prefer the Memento for my black ink because it just has a crisper image. So you'll be able to see there the Memento obviously is a lot darker and fills in a lot better than that Staz-On. So now I use Memento for all of my stamping except when I do need the Staz-On for like watercoloring or whatnot. So that's how I use those. So a lot of people swear by Hero Arts inks. They have a lot of different colors. They've been in the game for a long time, and they have a lot of really pretty colors. The thing is, since it is a dye ink, it takes a little bit to settle into the paper, so it looks blotchy at first on the paper, and then as it sits, it smooths out. And this absolutely bugs me because I feel like it doesn't always sink into the paper. I don't know if it's the kind of paper that I'm using or what, but I actually don't love the Hero Arts inks as much as some people. One way, if you do want to get started, Hero Arts has these ink cubes, and you can get 4 in a pack for about the price of 2 ink pads. So they are a lot smaller, but you can get a lot more colors for your money, and you can try out a lot of different things. So, and I believe the Distress inks also have those in a few different colors. And this right here is a Tim Holtz Distress ink, and these are really cool because you can use them with water, or you can spray with them. You can put them onto a craft mat and squeeze it out and use it to watercolor. So as you can see there, it is bleeding out whenever I'm coloring with it. It's not perfect because I stamped it and then use the water a little bit later after I stamped the second image. But you can do a lot of really fun things with Distress inks. You can also use them to blend because they blend really well, and you can make like backgrounds and just do a lot of really cool things with those. The Stampin' Up! Ink pads, I actually don't have a lot of those. I do have a few in different colors. And I'm not sure why I was showing you my Heidi Swap pink ink there, but so that's the Stampin' Up! Ink. It actually works pretty well. One thing is I don't like the containers that well. They're very hard to open and slide in and out, and I just don't really prefer that, but you can watercolor with them. As you can see there, I'm squeezing the pad and I open it back up, and you can use a water brush or a regular brush and you can paint with the colors. So that's that's a nice feature. And they watercolor really well. I haven't experimented with that on with all of my colors or all of my different brands of ink, but the Stampin' Up! Pads definitely work pretty well for that. I don't have a lot of the Stampin' Up! Pads just because I don't like the containers that well, and I don't feel like they stack very well. And I also feel like they're a little bit pricier. This is the Heidi Swap ink, which I really like. She came out with, I think, 6 or 8 colors, I'm not actually sure which, and I just kind of picked up the ones that I hadn't seen, well, that I didn't have colors of. So I didn't have a good pink, I didn't have a good navy, and I also got a yellow one of hers and a coral color, and the coral is a little bit too orange for me. I prefer a pinker coral, but I really like the way her inks stamp, and they sit really well. They sink into the paper. Another one of my new favorites is the Studio Calico inks. I really love this yellow color that I have. It's bright, it stamps really well, and it doesn't smear. As you can see there, it dries really quick. I also like it because the stamp pad itself is a lot smaller, and it's also stackable. That's just part of its design. And as you can see there, the Hero Arts ink has a little bit of a domed edge on the top there, so it doesn't make it very easy to stack. Same with the Stampin' Up! Pads. They don't stack on top of each other that well. They want to slide around. So the Studio Calicos are meant to be stacked, and they're a little bit smaller, so they save you a little bit of space. They're also a little bit more affordable, probably because they're just getting started and the ink pads are a little bit smaller. So I hope they come out with a few more colors. I feel like a lot of the colors they have are very basic, and even though I don't have all the colors, I'm looking into getting their red one and their Emerald City one, and I'm very excited to get both of those, but I hope they come out with more colors in the future. So this is the chalk ink, and as I said, it kind of sits on top there, and it stamps incredibly well. It's got like a softer feel to it, and the only thing about the pigment ink is it can kind of get stuck. So if you have the little triangles like on this butterfly, as you can tell, the triangles don't always come out crisp. They kind of get covered up by that pigment ink. It's something that doesn't really bother me. I just pick and choose the stamps that I work with. The other thing that's really awesome about the chalk inks, they're only $1.99 usually, so that's a lot of savings whenever you're trying to build your stamp collection. They also have some really beautiful colors in the chalk inks, and I don't even have a huge amount of these, but I probably have about, I would say, 8 colors, and I just find them to be really pretty, really versatile, and I use them on a lot of projects. They don't stamp well on other materials. They pretty much stamp just well on plain paper, not painted over paper or anything else. And once again, you do have to use the Huggies to wipe them off because they just don't come as clean on the stamp scrubber. In fact, sometimes they don't come off at all. So, but to get the most bang for your buck, I really recommend the chalk inks or the Heidi Swap inks. You can usually find a coupon, or recently they had a Heidi Swap sale, so you can pick those up pretty cheaply. The Studio Calicos are, I think, $4.99 a piece, and when other stamps are $6.99 or $7.99 a piece, you know, that's a pretty good savings. This is my new Fisker stamp press, and I wanted to share this with you guys because it's a little bit different than a regular acrylic block. It's a little bit more flexible, and it does have the little cushions on the 4 corners, so you can see your image where it's going to go before you stamp down and you press down on it. And I've used that for some of my larger stamps lately, and I really like it. So that pretty much wraps it up, but if you have any questions about ink, I'm definitely not an expert, but if you do have any questions, ask me and I will answer them to the best of my abilities. Anything that you want to know, or if you want to see other stamp colors or what ink colors that I recommend, or if you want a review on a different type of ink pad that I don't have yet, shoot me an email and I will tell you what I can, or I'll try to do a review for it. And anything else that you want to see on the blog, just let me know. Also, I do have a couple of giveaways going, so make sure you're subscribing to the videos because I'm doing a larger giveaway for when I reach 300 subscribers. And then if you head over to my blog, I'm doing a cut file giveaway. So if you don't have a silhouette machine, then this is the perfect chance for you to get some cut files printed out in some white paper so you'll have something to play with. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate all that you guys are doing. You're watching, you're liking, you're subscribing, and I really appreciate that. Thanks so much, and don't forget to hit up those giveaways. Thanks.